We'll get started here in a second. Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just signed up and this is the first thing I clicked
Oh,
on and I'm
yeah.
here. Thank
Appreciate you. Yeah,
yeah,
appreciate you signing up.
we got our whole staff hopefully be signed up by today.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Where are you at?
We're in Kansas and Southwestern College in Kansas, an NAIA school.
Oh, great. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like you got a nice gym.
We do. It's pretty nice. It's an old field house. It's real nice.
So all this is every week we kind of pick some members to do a little spotlight and we interview them for about 15 minutes or so. So
Okay.
and actually, let's go ahead and get started. So today or this week we've got Cody Cohen. Cody, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I see you're rocking the Murray State gear, but where are you right now? In Florida?
Yep, in Boca.
Okay.
Not a bad spot to be in
Yeah,
during this
yeah.
quarantine.
So you're from there, right? And that's also where you kind of started your coaching career. You started as a manager,
Correct.
uh,
Yep, at Florida Atlantic.
at Florida Atlantic. So talk to us about, that and like your path a little bit and kind of where it's taken you.
Sure. So, got my first experience coaching going into my senior year of high school, and one of the AAU coaches with that program played at FAU a long time ago when Rex Walters was a coach there. So I told him I loved it and I wanted to pursue it further. And he told me being a manager was a great route to go. And I had a previous relationship with Mike Jarvis. I'd been to his camps and things like that. So it was kind of an easy conversation for me to have with him about joining as a manager. Um, so I did that for 4 years. It was extremely rewarding. There were no like video coordinator, graduate assistants, assistant ops. It was just 3 assistants, the director of basketball operations, and obviously the head coach. So me being around the office every day, like I had a lot of chances and opportunities to really get my hands on things. And the more, obviously, the more you're around the office and the more stuff you're going to get given to do, providing you do a good job. Um, so before I knew it, that's how you and I met when you were at Mississippi State and I was contacting you about shoot around times my junior year. So 4 years was awesome. Coach Jarvis moved on from FAU, and Coach Michael Curry came on as a head coach there, and I was fortunate enough to have him keep me on as a graduate assistant. And I mean, he was phenomenal. Getting to pick his brain and really see how he thought things coming from the NBA. He was the top assistant defensive coordinator with the Philadelphia 76ers when Doug Collins was there. So it was, I mean, the way he thinks about the game, especially from the defensive side, was great for me to learn from. And also being in meetings, that was my first time as a GA and transitioning from being a manager where I'm in all the coaches meetings and I'm getting asked for my opinion on things and really helping me start to develop my identity, how I want to think about things, how I watch film, different things that I started doing for the very first time. So I was fortunate to have that experience. Then after that, I did something a little different that summer. After I got my master's, I hadn't found anything yet, job wise. So I went and worked for the Hoop Group the summer of 2016 in the Poconos with their skills camps in the office and just grinding away, making calls, trying to get people to sign up for camp, doing literally anything and everything. Very similar to kind of what you do as a manager. And it was a phenomenal experience. Just like anything else, like it's about those relationships that you build with people. There are phenomenal people that work in that organization that I've gotten to know and still are close with. So I did that for that summer while I was trying to find something, and then I ended up going to Murray State. And the only reason I got that was because of Tim Kaine, who was on staff there, and I worked with him at Florida Atlantic for 4 years when I was a manager before he moved on to Georgia Southern before going to Murray. So I was fortunate to do that for 2 years and then went to Palm Beach State as an assistant coach. Thankful for Martin McCann, who's now at Daytona State, for giving me that opportunity to get my feet wet for the first time, get on the floor, finding my voice as a coach, and really getting experience at JUCO level, which I hadn't. I had an idea, and you hear about different levels, but until you really experience it, you don't know. And I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. And then this past year, I coached at the high school level, close to home, which has been rewarding as well, because it's just you got to really dig deep and slow down and teach differently to high school kids as well. So it's been a great experience and been with good people throughout my journey so far. And then obviously being able to work with you and your staff with Rising Coaches this year as well, the digital content team has been great for me too. Just sharpening my tools of Photoshop and things like that. So it's been a good ride so far, just trying to navigate it.
Good. Yeah, you gave us a lot at once. So let's go back a little bit, like that first impression of Murray State, coming from FAU, where you kind of cut your teeth and you were with that program for a long time, and now you get an opportunity to go be on staff at Murray State, which is obviously, everyone knows the success that they've had over the years.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel ready for that? What were some of the things you learned, being on staff there and took away from that experience?
Sure. So from the video side, it's funny. Like, obviously I went there as a video coordinator, but to be honest with you, a lot of the film stuff I had to learn on the fly. I had sports code at FAU. Like, we had one sports code license, so I didn't have it on my computer. So I had to kind of get on it when I could and learn. So I wasn't as familiar with it as I would have liked to, but I was familiar enough to kind of get started. So from that perspective, I would say it was good for me to kind of have that opportunity to kind of grow with the job. But I'm thankful to Coach Curry that he had me in meetings as a GA for 2 years, being ready to answer those tough questions about recruiting, day-to-day operations of the program, just anything and everything under the sun that goes into running the program. So from day one that I was fortunate enough to have Coach McMahon have me be in meetings, I was ready for it. Now, I just asked at first when I was there, I just asked if I could be in the meetings to be a fly on the wall and learn. And then before you know it, he's asking for my opinion as well as the rest of the staff, which I'm eternally grateful for, because I think the world of those guys. They do a phenomenal job. And I think everybody on that staff, all those assistant coaches, will be head coaches very soon, in my opinion. James Kane, who was on that staff my first year at Murray, he'll be a head coach soon, I think, as well. And just that entire organization, that entire athletic department, they do a great job, and they're quality people. I think that's what can separate them, is just the quality of people and how much they care, and they want to do right by the person next to them. It's not about the one individual there, which I think is what helps them be so successful.
For sure. And then you go from there to, you mentioned it, Palm Beach State Community College. So like, why the JUCO route? And, I've talked about it before. Like, I had experience at the JUCO level and loved it. What did you get out of that experience, and how did it help you grow kind of as a coach?
Sure. So I think it's one of the tougher things when you're going up in a support staff role and you start as a manager. Obviously you want to coach, and that's, like, for most people, that is the goal, to become a head coach. But you can get comfortable in those support staff roles, especially when you're in a good spot with good people, like I was. But I knew I wanted to be a head coach, and I talked with Coach McMahon about it, and he told me, he said, "Code, like, if you want to be a head coach, you got to go coach." He said, "I would love to have you back, and you're more than welcome to, like, there's no one's kicking you out of here, but if you want to be a coach, you have to go get that experience." And being at a JUCO in Florida, for a successful coach and a successful program, it was tough for me to pass up. And it was only 30 minutes from home for me too. So kind of, it just checked off a lot of boxes. Definitely was tough leaving those players and coaches in Murray, but from what I got out of the experience, I was more prepared in a lot of ways than I thought I was, in terms of the on the court stuff came easy to me in terms of coaching and finding my voice, partially because of the freedom I was given by my head coach, which I'm extremely grateful for. But the operation stuff, the monitoring academics, the video, social media, just everything you have to do to where you only have 2 people in your program, I was familiar, and I had done all that as a manager, where you're familiar, where you're accustomed to wearing multiple hats at once and having to meet certain deadlines and things like that. The recruiting piece was the one thing that I think has taken time because you have to obviously build relationships with coaches and players and things like that. And that's what recruiting is all about, is relationships. So from that perspective, it was great for me, and being on the court. And I think the biggest thing is the relationships I have with those players, because when you only have two coaches, you're around those guys all the time and they depend on you. So those calls, those texts, those meetings I had with guys after they signed with their D1s and after they graduated, telling me how much they appreciated me and thanked me and loved me, like, that made everything worth it. Because it's not always easy, especially when you're just with two people. You have a lot to do and you want to do everything at an elite level. But just those relationships I have with those players and how much they appreciated everything I put into them made it all worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, those relationships kind of run a little deeper at the JUCO level when it is just, a small staff with maybe you and the head coach. So I can
100%.
definitely relate to that. And then, so your head coach left, right, in Palm Beach and went to a new situation where there, wasn't necessarily a great fit for you there. And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I hope I'm summarizing that correctly. And then you end up taking a job at the high school level at a really elite, kind of prep program in South Florida. What was that experience like? I mean, that's a level I've never been at, and you hadn't until this year.
Right.
What was the high school level like for you?
So it was great. I was really fortunate. I honestly had no expectations going in, just because I had never been at that level, like you said. But the coaching staff that was there and the whole athletic department, honestly, like, it was first class. They tried to run everything to the highest level they could. The quality of people that were there were phenomenal and are phenomenal. All those people are still there. North Broward Prep's a really good spot. It's a really high academic school too. So a lot of those kids end up going to the Ivy League and really, really high academic institution. But they were just great kids. They really wanted to learn. They really wanted to get better every day. It was great because they were receptive and they were hungry for trying to soak up anything I could give them. Not saying I have all the answers or whatever, but just being at the college level, they wanted to know what are they doing to prepare themselves for that? What are they not doing? Like, I think there are 5 players on that roster that will play at some level at the college level. The senior point guard on that team signed with Florida Southern, which I know you're familiar with. So it was a great experience for me. Like I said, just having to slow down and really teach, in some respects, skill development wise, basketball IQ, defensive positioning, like, a lot of that is new for guys. And then obviously there's so much more to balance, like, just their regular lives. Like, it's still high school. So it's not, you just don't have your hands on the kids as much in terms of teaching and things like that. I think at the college level, especially when I came from the JUCO level, where if the guys needed absolutely anything, they were calling me, whether it was a workout, whether it was to watch film, whether it was, hey coach, I'm just kind of lost for today. What do I have to do academically? Blah, 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 like, whatever, just things like that just to keep them on track. And I didn't really have to do any of that this year, which was nice. But at the same time, it was a great experience for me to just get to really dig down and teach and be around good people as well. Once again, like I have been throughout my career.
Okay, Cody. So what's next for you? What are you, in terms of aspirations? Are you wanting to get back to the Division I level? Would you really like to be on the floor? JUCO? You want to try something new? D2, D3? What's next? And well, let's start with that. What would you like your next role?
Sure. My goal is to be Division I head coach. That's just been my goal. So I've been trying to prepare, work, and shoot for that, and see where that path takes me. But at the same time, especially the climate that we're in, I'm not closing any doors or saying I'm above anything, because I am most certainly not. So I am honestly open to anything. I've just been trying to work to get better every day, soaking up all these clinics. That's been, and I know you and I have talked about it, that's been one of the more, and honestly, the only good thing I can really think of coming out of this whole pandemic, other than spending time with family, is the amount of content that's been put out there from Rising Coaches, the NABC, virtual basketball coaches clinics. So I've just been soaking all that up, trying to get better, preparing for that next opportunity wherever and whenever it will occur. So
for sure. That's great. And what are you kind of doing to, I don't know, separate yourself from the pack or market yourself? Like how, whether you're trying to get a Division I ops job or a Division II assistant job or whatever, like how are you separating yourself from others or marketing yourself?
Sure. So I think I've gotten good at Photoshop, which has been something key for me. And I know the video side. I've been familiar with sports code for a while now. And Photoshop was something that I hadn't really dived into as much until this year. So I've been able to take this time to really hone my skills with that. Also, shout out to Ben Tanoff with our graphic design team. I was trying to figure out a way of making a portfolio to kind of show all of my work that I've done. And I was looking up different things online and things of that nature. And I saw that he had his done through Adobe. And when you have a Photoshop subscription, you get access to Adobe's My Portfolio for free. So I was able to do that, and I have that prepared, and I've been sending that out as well with things to coaches. And I think it's huge, like being able to have all of your stuff available to coaches at the click of a button, instead of having to send out a hard drive with all of your stuff on it or a Google Drive or whatever. I just think it's very accessible for people. And Cody Toppert actually gave me that advice, an assistant at Memphis. He gave me that advice a long time ago, about having all of your stuff together, whether it's a workout plan, a workout that you've done with one of your guys, or a highlight tape, or anything that you think could add value, a scouting report, whatever it is, have that accessible to coaches, to where you can send that out. So that's what I've done. And then just been watching a ton of film. For people who don't have access to Synergy, you can go on YouTube and watch a ton of games, and March Madness's YouTube account has actually been putting out full games from last year. I watched UK versus Houston last night. But it's good. There's plenty of resources out there. Obviously, like Hoop Vision does a great job. Jordan Sperber, B-ball breakdown, half court hoops, basketball immersion. There's so many resources out there for all of us at various levels to where we all have the opportunity to get better, especially during this time where there's not much else to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Cody, thanks so much, man. And more importantly, thank you on a personal level just for all your help and work that you've put into Rising Coaches this year. So much of our growth is due to like your hard work and the rest of our content team and everyone else behind the scenes. So appreciate you doing all that work. And I'm happy to, have the member spotlight on you this week. So we give you a chance to get in front of the camera, so to speak, and get a little recognition. So thanks, man, for everything.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate your friendship and mentorship. And we've known each other for a long time now. And truly everything you do for me and for Rising Coaches, it means a lot. And I truly don't take it for granted. So thank you for everything you do as well.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks, Cody. We'll do this. We'll keep doing this every week. We'll pick a few random coaches and give them an opportunity to be on the hot seat and be in the member spotlight, just so that we give our members, some publicity and a chance to get noticed. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream. Good job, Cody. Well done.